Hello, everybody, and welcome to ABM Answered, the quickfire demand gen and ABM video series, or at least that's what we're aiming for today. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Paola Piccinno. Is that how you pronounce your name? Amazing, Paola. Sorry, the Italian in me. I haven't got any good pronunciation. I'm English. But who is the founder at Piccinno Strategic Marketing? She has both B2B and B2C marketing experience, which I'm super excited to see if that translates across. Is also mentor at Techstars, which I love. So you're already my kind of person. But perhaps what I'm most excited about is the fact that you're our first guest based in Australia, or currently in Australia, in that area of the region of the world. So, yeah, I guess, Paola, it'd be good to get a bit of background from you, maybe on your experience, your travels, what you've done before.
Yes, this is a great intro. Oh, the first Australian guest. I am a dual citizen, so I am technically Australian, although from my accent you might pick up. I grew up in Italy, southern Italy. So yeah, thanks for the introduction and thanks for having me. I am really equally excited to be here. I have been playing in the fractional role as a fractional CMO for the past year and a half. And before that, I spent 20 plus years of my career in corporate across Europe, UK, Africa, and then the past 11 years in Asia Pacific. Most of my 20 plus years have been spent in client-side roles, in marketing strategy roles for tech companies of the likes of Microsoft, Google, Sony Mobile, Kingston Technology, Save the Children, a lot of British companies there, love that, and News Corp Australia. And then more recently, in the past few years, I moved agency side. So I feel this is something that comes up a lot when I speak to clients. They tell me, you get us, Paola, you speak our language, because I was literally one of them until very, very recently. So I know what they want to hear. I know their pain points. I know the right language that will resonate with them. And I get excited when I have great programs or results to share with them, because I do remember the feeling of receiving great reporting or insights that I could go back and show off to my sales and marketing team.
You've been in the trenches. That's what I love about it. It's not just agency side. You've actually lived and breathed the role.
Yeah.
So to run you quickly through the rules and the viewers through the rules, Paola, in this case, will be given a set of questions to respond to all about ABM and Demand Gen. The questions have come from and been adapted based on the data we collected at Mixed Reality Rooms, where 1,000 marketers have gone through and given us what their biggest headaches are. But because we're big time now, Paola, we've started to include previous guest questions as well and their headaches. So yeah, Paola, are you ready for question one?
No, please go ahead.
Okay, so problem one is knowing where to start. So you've got, I don't even know what experience you want to draw on here. You've got great experience across many companies, markets, so on and so forth. But what are the first steps you typically look for when you start an ABM program? What goals and metrics do you, and I'm sure it differs, but do you, I guess, kind of lean towards for measuring its success? And probably my favorite question or part of this would be, how long is a pilot? Because you've got to balance the expectations of leadership and also be realistic on the results.
Yeah, that's cheating, though, Sam. That's 3 questions I counted into one. I'll start from the last one because I forgot the first one in the meantime. The pilot, I would recommend most of the times starting with a one-to-few rather than a one-to-one. Running the one-to-few pilots for 6 months minimum. I wouldn't even accept a client who wants to. It's quite controversial, I know, but it's my choice. I can choose who I work with, but I wouldn't accept a client who wants to do a pilot for less than 6 months. It's just not enough time to demonstrate any meaty results. From that one-to-few pilots, then they could expand after the 6 months. It could continue, and then it becomes an effective ABM program. It could expand into either one or more than one-to-few after you've analyzed the insights across those 6 months from some of the accounts, or it could be that you decide to run another pilot for another cluster using a similar methodology and a similar framework, but just another cluster of accounts altogether. Can you remind me the other 2 questions, please?
Yeah, no, so that's the pilot. What metrics are you kind of looking to show after 6 months?
I would focus on the 3 R's and not just on the revenue. So also reminding the sales team to focus on revenue, on relationships and reputation, as well as the revenue. The 3 metrics combined together in the short, medium, and long term will give the ultimate results that everybody is seeking. And if that means having to go back to the sales team and having meetings with them and take them on the journey of what account-based marketing is, which for me is a big change management piece, that it's part of the role we are playing. Your question was also where to start from.
Mm-hmm.
I would start from insights and research before even thinking about the go-to-market or the type of account-based marketing and one wants around. What is the knowledge and the maturity within the organization of account-based marketing from all the people that will have to get involved? So at the very least, marketing and sales team, how much do they know about account-based marketing? And once we tick the box of maturity, how much does the sales team know about the accounts that they are looking at targeting? Everything comes off the back of that. But spending more time on the insights and research piece is my advice.
That's awesome. I apologize for putting that all on you. I feel like you answered like 4 questions in one there already. But we're out the gates. Problem 2 is middle of the funnel jam. So I guess this is nurturing, right? So how can go-to-market teams kind of, accelerate their deal velocity, unblock those accounts that might be stuck, after initial contact has been made?
I think this challenge will come back and back again. Even if one thinks they've solved it with a great strategic foundation and with a really well thought go-to-market plan, this is the part of the program that will need more love in the monitoring phase. So I think I don't want to give an answer with, use this tactic and that would fix it. It's about keeping the sales team on the journey and not keeping them isolated outside of what the marketing team has decided in the go-to-market plan. So I'm sorry, I don't have the most exciting answer there for you, as in, use this tactic, good, do this. It is about continuously looking at the tactics that are working and the messages that are resonating with the specific personas or target audiences more than others, and adjusting those and getting the sales team perhaps involved where if they need to be. It's continuous adjustment really, and building on the learning that one is doing as we test the campaign.
Well, I honestly think that's a solid answer, because when I ask that question, I get a lot of kind of tactics, which are good because it's kind of what everyone really wants. But what you're doing is like actually bring it back to the fundamentals, which is that
Correct.
The sales team need to be engaged or this isn't going anywhere. Hey,
right.
Problem 3, selling within enterprises. Account-based marketing can obviously have a role into this, like customer marketing. But yeah, what are some effective ways that you've seen in your experience to kind of upsell products and services into existing customer bases? And I guess another little nuance to this, I guess, if you've got an opinion on it, how do you know when it's time to increase the price of your offering?
Okay, the first question, I think... upselling, again, I'll bring it back to strategy and having the right messaging house in place and leveraging the right enablers and sales plays that will then form the messaging to help with that upselling piece, making sure that you are targeting the right people. And sometimes we spend too much focus or time and budget into targeting the decision makers only, but there are a lot of other personas out there, such as that they can be influencers or partners of our main target audience. And they could be the ones that help us to influence the main decision makers. So just playing around the messaging, the alignment with the overall strategy, and finding what makes those people tick, and also focusing not just on decision makers, but also the people surrounding the decision makers, influencers, partners. What was the other question, please?
No, well, it was a great answer to that part, though. But the other part is like everyone ups their prices. Is there a way of doing that delicately without them kicking off?
I'm gonna quote someone, a fellow fractional VP of sales, who gave me this tip when we were having this very conversation here by the beach. There is an office by the beach here. We worked from a couple of weeks ago, and I know it's a great place to be, Sunshine Coast. And the advice he gave me, he's a lot more experienced than me in the fractional space as well. And he said, when you just put it up over 10% at a time, when you start having people bouncing back saying, hold on, that's too much, then that's where you need to stay. Then you've hit the right price point.
I love that.
This is not me. I'm experimenting it, but that was the best advice I've received so far.
It makes total sense as well. Like, you could all theorize about what's the perfect price, but really the market's going to tell you. And as long as you're responsive to the market, it makes total sense. Problem 4, implementation of AI, that threaded buzzword, right? So like, how are you using AI in your tech stack or advising your clients to use AI, if at all, Paola?
Yeah, absolutely. No, totally. Every day. I do not use, there are a lot of different tools I use at different times. Also, again, I'm lucky enough to be working from an AI powered digital hub, and they are the gurus in this space, which means they run weekly workshops every time for the members. And here by the beach, same beach, guys, Parisian Beach. When there is a new AI tool, or perhaps the same AI tool that has upgraded the backend, and they have new ways of solving problems, we get made aware of that straight away. For example, just today, for the work I've had to do, I've used one AI tool to shorten videos like this one into small clips and update, put a log on them, change the visuals, and just play around with things. I saved hours. I'm not a video editor, and it took me 10 minutes to come up with so many different clips from a YouTube video with all the editing that I wanted to do. I use AI tools for research and insights a lot, for that upfront work that I need to do before I start building strategies for my clients. So I prepare for a workshop. So I use it a lot and I invite my clients to use AI. And when I say AI, I'm not just talking about ChatGPT. Actually, I haven't used it in a while, but there's consensus perplexity, and there's a lot more out there where you can just do research about the accounts and find some really good insights there. I use it for brainstorming. As a fractional, it can be lonely at times, so I don't have a team, and I do love a full room of creatives brainstorming with me. So I use it, sadly, sometimes for brainstorming, to start, sometimes even just to start an ideation. I have an idea in mind, but I have this blank page in front of me. Today I had to put together a proposal for me to speak at an event. And I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but because I was multitasking, I just couldn't get the start right or the structure. So I put all of that into AI, and AI this tool knows me really well inside out, knows my proposition, my tone of voice, and that's another way. So yes, I totally use it every day, and I encourage my clients to use it. One way I don't use it though, and I suggest the same to my clients, is not to use it to come up with value propositions and messaging houses. It needs to happen here. And also for copywriting, I don't personally use it to write content.
They are some solid use cases. Paola, if you ever need anyone to brainstorm ideas with you, I'm always up for getting creative. Problem 5, because I'm conscious of time here, adapting to change of buyer behavior. So obviously, let's look at the macro here. Buying cycles have typically got longer. It's not like the best market right now to be selling technology, or maybe it is, depending on your technology. But like, how have you perhaps adapted strategies over, or maybe let's just take 12 months? Like, has anything changed from what you were doing last year to what you're doing this year with your clients, or like a different mindset and approach?
If anything, it's getting more strategic. Especially in the ANZ markets. It's not so much about the MarTech that you're using or the tactics that you include within your GTM, but it's getting the strategy, the upfront strategic piece right. Clients are still spending money. They're just more cautious with who they spend money with. So you want to make sure that your message really speaks to them. And it's touching those points that are really close to their hearts and helping them solve the problems. I think the relevance in the message and the consistency and the repetition across all different touch points and a lot of patience, all of those elements are working better than just another LinkedIn campaign and digital campaign, which I'm not against. It might be a time and place for that, but it's what brands are appreciating is the high level of personalization and the strategy behind things.
Great answer. So in a world full of just spammy distribution, like that's where you've like come back to like the value prop and personalizing and tailoring the offer. Awesome answer, Paola. Are you okay for time? We've got 2 more questions. Cool. So question 6 came in from Vasilios Kospanos, who is the EMEA Regional Marketing Manager. And also, I think APAC as well now at Bugcrowd. And he asked, with the upcoming demise of cookies, which seems to have been happening for a long time now, but like, what's next for intent data-based platforms like 6sense or Demandbase? So maybe even if you don't want to specifically talk about those two as a whole, maybe you could talk more about like just intent data in general, where it's kind of like fallen, where you think it might fall in the future, or it might flourish. It's a bit of a bombshell, but it's the floor is yours, Paola.
Okay, that's not my area of expertise, so I don't want to claim that I know this piece inside out. And also, because at the moment I'm focusing more on Australian clients, that's the work is a lot more happening at a strategic level than intent data. And it's really hard to find intent data in Australia. It's more, I wouldn't feel comfortable in answering this. It's literally not where I play.
That's fine too.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help with this one.
Cool, Vass. I'm going to have to find someone else to answer the question. That's interesting about Australasia, though. I never knew that, because it's also the same across the UK as well. It's like I'm slowly realizing different regions, because of GDPR or whatever, they've got like different level of kind of detail and intent on different regions. Anyway, question 7, last question. You made it. Vincent Plassard, ABM growth lead at Userled, which is a pretty awesome ABM company, to be honest. He asked, what's one thing you did early on in your career that you would not do again?
You're not going to like this. I made the most amazing decisions. Decisions. Yeah, but I follow my instincts in life. When I'm stuck in the Amazons in Peru, true story, or in places in Africa, or at work, and in really tricky situations when you have really senior salespeople that want to just eat you up alive because you're in marketing and you're this small. And I always have an answer, and I always read the room, and I come up with the best possible solution or answer or decision for that moment. I don't have any regrets. I didn't know about this answer, by the way, this is a surprise, but I thought about this before in my life. And I am really pleased with every turn my life has taken, and because I was consciously taking that decision for my life, because it got me where I am right now, and it's going to take me to some more exciting places soon. So I'm sorry, not a disappointment here. None. I'm really, really, really happy with what I've made with my career.
You're not disappointing anyone, but I have 3 comments on that. 1, congratulations. I'm super happy for you that you feel that way and you don't have regrets. 2, God, what was I going to say? Well, I'll give you 2 points. That is the most Italian-inspired answer I've ever heard in my life, and I love that you go with your gut. So the third one might come back to me. But Paola, okay, you've been phenomenal. The last thing I will ask you is, do you have a question for our next guest?
Yes. What is your superpower in a room with marketing teams, sales team, and customer success and products, perhaps, when you're about to start facilitating a strategic workshop for either one-to-one or one-to-few ABM? What do you rely on?
That's an awesome question. I will get that included. And Paola, just lastly, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, Sam, for having me.